welcome Kristen Millares Young to the stage.
Hi, friends. Grateful that we're all here tonight. And I'm going to read, I will say this, it's the very first personal essay I ever wrote. I'm going to read it tonight because I'm turning my memoir to my publisher. And if any of y'all have ever gone through that process, it's a lot of emotion. And I feel very grateful to be able to share a little bit here. And I know that a lot of you may be writers. I mean, black women write, right? It's a long journey, right? But like, two things that I didn't expect to be true, which is that doing the work itself is the reward, which can feel hard when you're army crawling through your own life, right? But also the people you meet. So I'm glad that you're all hanging out tonight, and I'm just so grateful to be here. Thanks, y'all. All right. This essay is called A Few Thoughts While Shaving. If you can get past the opening, we'll be all right. It's getting harder and harder to shave my pussy, let alone the tight star of my asshole. At this point in my pregnancy, a leg up and a lifelong sense of my own topography are required to circumnavigate the globe of my belly. A hand mirror would be good, but this isn't the 70s. My husband shaves his beard with my razor every morning. The blades are dulled by the time they get to me, but he's worth it. He thinks I can make it as a novelist, something I've not been able to shake despite the odds. We're planning on 2 kids, and as this boy burdens within me, I'm considering whether to ask my doctor to harvest my tubes moment after birth if I again deliver by cesarean section after a full day of unmedicated back labor like the first time last year. Disaster looms. Murphy's Law and all. I can't even write what I'm afraid might happen. It's smart to keep a generator. That's what I learned growing up in hurricane country. That and get a ring on your finger before it's too late. The good ones get gone, and what's left is damage beyond repair. Or maybe that's me. Will I have time to write, or won't I? That's not a question that kids answer for you. It's a discipline, like joy, and I'm working on it. I didn't think I'd get to make these kinds of decisions. 11 years before I became a mother, I woke shaking from anesthesia to a nurse who said they took my right ovary while I was out. Didn't even fucking ask. Slipped a sack around its bulk and began chopping, working with a camera and a scalpel and a noose tightened around the mouth of the bag. It was the summer after my college graduation, my hospital room filled with bouquets. I shocked a friend by tossing the carnations. He didn't know I was capable of such ruthlessness. He didn't see what I did to the drafts of my first novel, but by then, we weren't speaking. After a week of healing up, I shuffled to the stationery store, wincing with the pull of each stitch, taking the sidewalk so slow that people parted and coursed around me, and for the very first time in my life, I felt true kinship with the old. I had to rest on a bench halfway down the block. Hand on my swollen stomach, I stared into a cafe, and there, a starched waitress looked me over. "Think about the baby," she said. "Eat something." I smiled, the smell of warm garbage rising all around us. Dumpsters still make me nostalgic for New York. But the point is, I was given time to develop nostalgia and have children. Ovarian cancer is deadliest in the young. By what must be called a miracle, no small mercy, but a goddamn miracle. A cyst grew on my left ovary to sound the warning bell with painful farts and bloat. while unbeknownst to the many, many scans that preceded my surgery, a tumor grew over my right ovary like a second skin, a shroud. It turns out my surgeon was a curious sort. After she cut out the cyst, she turned her camera on the other ovary, took a tour through the neighborhood, so to speak. And I can only imagine the shock and dread of seeing what slipped past the tests. And perhaps one moment of self-congratulations as she readied a bag to pass through the hole she'd opened at my belly button. That woman didn't save the tumor for me to inspect. She said it looked like a cauliflower, but gray. I was given time. During my first pregnancy, dark patches of skin surfaced on my forehead and upper lip where they bobbed like kelp in the sea. Lines have moved in around my mouth and eyes. My first birth scar healed red. It smiles beneath my planetary torso. My bout with cancer was over quick. No chemo, no radiation. The tumor was borderline, not quite benign, but not yet on the attack. I like to think of it as a dandelion head, cupped slow and careful before the gust. After the swelling subsided, everyone thought I looked great, by which they meant skinny, and I was. Released from my Time magazine internship by editors who sent flowers but no fucking job offer, I booked a colonoscopy and an unpaid reporting assignment in Buenos Aires. I coasted on the savings from that first gig, that cushy cul-de-sac, having learned frugality from both sides of my family, the military line y los inmigrantes. My forebears knew how to duck a dictator and service in a new country, ready to work. Soon after, I became a beat reporter at a daily paper, business, then politics, which was exhausting as one might imagine. The deadlines rolling without cease, the stress candied with exhilaration that I chose for myself as though my body had not already warned me. Even now, years after the newspaper closed, my eyes are shadowed. I drive myself hard, draft after draft. In the dark hours, my elder son cries and reaches for me, his sobs echoing through thick fluid to his brother. I haven't slept a night since they were born. I'm learning to accept myself. I hear it's a first step towards love, and I need so desperately to love these boys right. If only for that reason, I will do this thing that I once found unfathomable. Besides, this face looks like it's fixing to stay this way. My dad ignored the lump in his throat for months. The tumor shadow cuts across his neck and a picture of him on the boat in the Everglades, his head to one side. Just before the diagnosis, his swarthy and powerful radiation left him pale and thinned. It burned his throat so bad, he toted a thermos of milk for years. He's strong again. We're fighters in this clan. My kin have a habit of leaving trauma behind, by which I mean moving on. But you always carry it with you. When I was 14, my mother sent me back across the country to my dad's house in Florida, just for the summer, for the big move. I hadn't lived with him since I was 2. When I got back to California, her hair was different, coiffed with these shiny bangs. She was bony. In the dimmed light of her bedroom, her smoky eyeliner made her look like a fucking movie star. Of course, she'd had a double mastectomy and started chemo while I was gone. And at first, I didn't want anyone at school to know that I was sick. She and I are of one body. We hate being pitied. When the news got around, I went to lay down in the bleachers. I told no one about the papery spacesuits we were made to wear after her bone marrow transplant. Someone accused me of using her surgeries to delay turning in papers, which is true. Nothing sharpens the mind like a deadline. That may be why I'm so productive while pregnant. I will not give up on this novel, despite fatigue that settles over me like fog. I have to sit down midway through my showers, and good thing there's a bench. I move on to my legs, what I can reach of them, while at my feet, my toddler plays with plastic dinosaurs, sponge letters, a yellow bucket he fills and empties again and again. I know. How can I shave with him in the shower? Let me ask you something. When else? I weaned him when he was 14 months old, and I deep into my second trimester with his brother. Nearing birth again, my breasts have readied for the suckle, heavy with gold that drips onto my thighs. To transcribe our history of treacherous insides feels like begging questions I can ill afford to pose. Submitting to one's own potential demands constant parley with the loss of self-control. Labor taught me that. My first inkling was when I pooped on my body pillow. Oh, I said, okay. I threw up dozens of times in the hours that followed. To catch the wave of pain and stay above it. To breathe it down. To rock back and forth, standing, kneeling, in the bathtub, on the bed, down the hall, arms around the neck of the nearest person who can bear that weight. To fill the room with sound. To recognize there will be no end to pain until life is brought forth, slick and wriggling from a slit of some kind. For this sole purpose, I would have given of myself unto death. If there comes a choice, save the baby, I told my husband. Don't say that, he replied. You're both coming home with me. Nothing worth doing comes easy. I have plumbed my whole being for the joy and hope required to bring these treasures into the world. They are teaching me to yield to happiness. I tap my razor onto the wall, and our sun spreads a foam and draws the sun in the bristles. And over time, I've come to understand there is no deserving of happiness, only the great fortune of receiving it. And by that measure, I am rich, given a vocation and years to see it through, granted one son and pledged another, gifted promise that lives within, kicking and kicking and kicking. Thanks.